Sarah Baker with the Oklahoma Democratic Party, the executive director. And Sarah, after these allegations came out, the Democratic Party leaders were quickly calling for Shorty to suspend himself. But now that charges have been filed against Shorty, does that change your stance? Do you want him to completely step down? What would you say?
Well, right now it is still that he should take it upon himself to do what is most responsible on behalf of Oklahomans, and the fact that he is a lawmaker. He is somebody that is supposed to be passing laws. We're 6 weeks into session. We're still facing issues with budget, not having anything for budget, dealing with teacher pay issues, all kinds of business that needs to be going on, and the legislature needs to be able to focus on that and not focusing on his personal issues and what's going on in this case. So yes, for him to go ahead and take that responsibility and suspend himself, although the Senate yesterday essentially stripped him of everything they possibly could with exception to voting and pay. So he needs to take that further step and go ahead and do that on his own.
And in all of your time in your position, have you ever seen charges or allegations of this magnitude, targeted towards a lawmaker, a senator here?
No, not of this magnitude. I mean, this is pretty significant. Whether or not this has happened in the past, I'm not aware, but for as long as I've been doing politics for about 10 years, I have never experienced anything like this.
Obviously, you're with the Democratic Party. Ralph Shorty is a Republican, but party lines aside, soliciting sex, soliciting prostitution with an underage male, does that give a black eye to all Oklahoma legislators? I mean, how do you bounce back from that? This has made national headlines now, by the way.
Sure, yeah. It definitely sets a negative tone for Oklahoma lawmakers. I mean, we've had a couple of allegations and a couple of things that have come through in the last couple of months. This certainly doesn't make any situation any better. In my opinion, it makes the situation worse by a wide margin. It doesn't make Oklahoma look good. It doesn't make us look like we are taking our lawmaking responsibilities seriously, and that there is something really going on within the Capitol building and some of the legislators that are there.
And we have reported on every single piece of evidence, everything that we can possibly give our viewers on this case. But I think the one question a lot of people have at home is, where is he right now? Have you heard anything about his location, him possibly coming forward? What's the latest that you're hearing?
I'm hearing everything that you guys are hearing. Nobody's able to kind of track him down. I know several people have tried to locate him at his home. He wasn't in the Capitol yesterday. The Senate was in yesterday. He wasn't there. He wasn't on the floor. He wasn't in any of his committees. Nobody seems to know where he is or what's going on, and they're having trouble. Last I heard, even the Republican Party Chair Pam Pollard was having trouble. She had tried to reach out to him, but had not heard back from him last I knew.
And does that worry y'all?
It certainly does, because if that were, as executive director of the Democratic Party, that's something that we want to be able to keep in touch and make sure that we know what's going on, so we can help in any situation that we can, be completely informed, because obviously, like here I am today, and that's one of the things that we have to deal with. So when we're cut out, like it seems to be that he's kind of cutting his people out, that is very concerning.
And we want to mention here at Channel 5, I personally too have tried to text him and call him, and really nobody has heard from him. And as Steve just said, an arrest warrant has been requested. So at that point, you're kind of running from the law if you're not turning yourself in. So something we'll follow very closely. What happens to his constituents at this point? Do they have another election, or are they just without somebody if he does have to step down? He has 3 felony charges against him at this point.
Yeah, he is right now, in his absence, sure, they don't have any acting representation with the fact that he's not in the building. And he's essentially not able to do anything. I mean, he's been stripped of all of his committee responsibilities, his leadership positions, and everything. So right now, they don't have any representation at all. Should he resign, which I, see as a possibility, given the nature and the severity of the charges, should he resign, then yes. And that leaves 3 seats open right now. We have one in Tulsa, one in Oklahoma City, and then of course one out in Seminole. And again, with the pressing issues of budget and teacher pay, funding for public education that are on the line right now, that's certainly a problem that 3 of the communities that need representation the most, especially when it comes to public ed, don't have representation.
And I know that the Senate unanimously decided to punish him yesterday, strip him of his duties. Kind of tell us about what the mood is, you know, at the Capitol right now amongst other lawmakers. What's the mood amongst his colleagues?
It's been a crazy couple of days, and so the communication that I've had with other legislators is that everything is moving very quickly. Obviously, this just happened a week ago. It broke just the other night. The Senate going in and doing what they did yesterday, that was very fast. It was the right thing to do, in my opinion, that they took swift action in reprimanding him to the extent that they could. But everybody's kind of concerned about what's going to happen next, what the next step is, whether he is going to resign, and how they need to kind of redirect focus back to the issues that need the most attention.
It seems like, quite honestly, that this has been a major distraction, of course, because when one of your state legislators, one of your state senators, has been now charged with 3 felonies, soliciting prostitution with a minor child, that's going to be a big distraction, no matter who it is. If that's one of your colleagues, they need to be focused on the budget, on teacher pay raises. Is it a distraction right now? Are they able to focus on what they need to be focused on the floor?
It is absolutely a distraction, and it's something that Oklahoma doesn't have time to deal with right now. And, you know, while we don't want anything like this to happen ever, this really could not have come at a worse time, in that, you know, we don't have a budget bill coming out of the House, and we have 1 week to get something off of the floor, and there hasn't been anything of substance come out of the House of Representatives. Now, you know, Senator Shorty is on the Senate side, but this affects not just what's going on in the Senate, but it affects everybody up at the Capitol in both chambers. So major distraction, inability to completely focus on what they need to be doing and the tasks at hand.
All right. Sarah Baker with the Oklahoma Democratic Party, we thank you so much for your time this morning.
Sure, thank you.
Definitely a case that I know you're staying on top of, we're staying on top of here at KOCO 5, so we appreciate you taking the time
Thank you so much.
to come
Thank
sit
you
with us.
for being with
I would
us.